Cable 10, Aurora, Illinois Community Access Channel.
Let's get weird, buddy. Let's get weird.
Guys, where are we?
Well, if there's a bright center to the universe, you're on the planet that it's farthest from.
Welcome to the Outer Rim. Enjoy your stay.
What the
Yeah. Yes. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun. Right over there, I almost did it, is my great friend, Darrin Jaques from D's Reviews. Darrin, how you doing?
Oh, I'm so excited, man. I am so excited to talk about this. This is yeah.
I mean, Severance coming back and everything was, it's new and original, and it's, there's a lot to chew on, and Ben Stiller made something fantastic and everything. But ever since Better Call Saul ended, and we knew something else has been coming for a little while now, and not really knowing what Vince Gilligan was up to, except that Ray Seahorn, Kim Wexler from Better Call Saul was going to be the star of this new project. And there was so much secrecy around this thing that, it really were just barely dropping. That teaser trailer was perfect. Nothing. Just, here's a thing. No context. Somebody's licking donuts. What the hell's happening here? Perfect marketing to just get you going. What is this? And they dropped, normally, again, I want to watch one episode a week. They gave us 2. I was happier than a...
Was good they did.
I'm so glad that I got 2 episodes right out the bat. I didn't even care. Like, I'm glad they didn't throw it all out there. But when the first episode ended, I was like, no. I would binge this. Unfortunately, I would probably binge this, and I can't stand that I'm admitting that I would binge this. We're talking about, what we're talking about. Do I really have to tell everybody what we're talking about? We're talking about Pluribus. I'm so happy it's on Apple and not on AMC. No offense to AMC. You made sure that we got all the seasons of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. But here we are talking about Vince Gilligan's new show. Darrin, I'm going to throw things at you. Because this is how it goes on my channel, folks. We are not going to do I don't do normal reviews. I'm not a normal person. So I want to talk about all kinds of things.
The show's great, bottom line right there. So
that's it. Goodbye, everybody. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. So first off, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel.
And
we're going to be covering Pluribus every week. I love one episode a week too. After that, but Darrin, what's your experience? What's your experience with Vince Gilligan stuff? As far as when did you first know about Vince Gilligan? Was it the X-Files? Was it Breaking Bad? Was it
Well, let's see. I'm actually going to tell this story through telling a separate story, a parallel story. After watching this movie, watching the 2 episodes, the credits pop up, and my wife looks at it and goes, "Oh, Vince Gilligan, from the X-Files." Because we didn't watch Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. Again, I have personal reasons why I know it's a great show, but I'm familiar enough with that world. I don't need to watch a show about it. Which reminded me, I was like, oh, that's right. Because he has had so much heat off of Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad before that. I was like, oh, that's right. He was all the way back in the X-Files. And for her, her memory was actually she had a friend of hers that was in one of Vince Gilligan's X-Files episode, the one with the bus, the truck that couldn't go below, speed or whatever.
You're talking about Drive?
Yeah. He was like a gas station attendant in that episode. So she kind of knew the guy. They had lunch, one day and so on, and he stopped by and so on. And that's kind of was her whole memory of him. And I'm like, well, that's so funny because I do have that memory. And I think he even didn't he do the Lost Gunman?
The Lone Gunman
series also?
Yeah.
Because he only was at that point where I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. I do remember him from way back, but he has, made himself so much of a name on Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. I think it kind of overshadowed that for my mind. But I was like, oh, yeah, I remember all those. I'm like, that's sort of where I remember his stuff. So to me, this was perfect because this was like an X-Files episode in so many ways, or an outer, an outer rib type episode, the
Outer Limits.
Outer Limits. Thank you. I'm confusing it with our pod, the Outer Rim pod, which new videos dropping on Mondays. So yeah, that's to me, it felt so familiar. I think it's why it felt so familiar and comfortable watching this, is because it had that exact same feel, and it just really did flashback me to, back in those days that honestly I had kind of forgotten about.
Yeah, the reason that I'm bringing all this up is because Vince Gilligan for me is like this massive draw. There's not a lot of people out there that I automatically I'm in with when I hear something, right? For me, it's Quentin Tarantino. I'm in. Or a certain person like Chip Zdarsky's writing a comic book. I'm in. I don't care what it's about. And as far as TV goes, if I hear the name Vince Gilligan, I that was what got me into Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad had already been out. I knew I'd seen the posters. I saw Hal from Malcolm in the Middle in his underwear on a poster. And I'm like, what is this? And then I saw from Vince Gilligan. My memories, because look, everything, there's so much in me that goes all the way back to the X-Files all the time.
Yeah.
I am wearing a From Outer Space by Jose Chung t-shirt that is from the book. Now, this was a Darren Morgan written episode. Yeah, I know who writes all the episodes. That's how obsessed I am. So he didn't write this episode, and I've got the hand in the background because it always goes back to the X-Files for me. And I remember getting into the X-Files, and I had the videotapes that they would put out before you could get full seasons of the show at like Best Buy or wherever you got your tapes and stuff. They would sell these tapes that had 2 episodes per tape, and they would release them in 3. So you get 3 tapes. That means you got 6 episodes to watch. And in those tapes, they would have behind the scenes stuff. And when they got to season, I think must have been 3. That's when I was first introduced to Vince Gilligan and the behind the scenes stuff. And he's just this regular, he's a nerdy guy talking. He still talks exactly the same way he does now. And he's just this, guy who's really into what he's talking about. And I remember just because I was so into that, I was paying attention to who did this. Was it Rob Bowman? Was it Frank Spotnitz? Was it Darren Morgan? Or was it,
Kim Manners? Love Kim Manners' work.
And they would all talk about this. And he did episodes from season 2 all the way to season 9, starting with, I'm sorry I'm doing it. I'm not sorry. I'm just telling you. I'm sorry that I'm putting you through this. He goes all the way back to literally his X-Files career goes back 30 years, just over 30 years with season 2 Soft Light. where Tony Shalhoub was a guy who couldn't control his shadow.
No, yeah.
Okay, that was his first episode on the X-Files. And he went on in season 3 for Pusher. Then he did Unruh, the one with the guy who was taking psychic pictures. Paper Hearts, one of the greatest episodes they did about Mulder's like backstory.
With
had to do with
sister.
it was about the serial killer that. The serial killer, and he thinks he might have killed his sister. One of the great episodes. He went to like co-write a whole bunch of stuff with a bunch of these guys who I love when they get together. But like he did Unusual Suspects, the first like episode that was about the lone gunman. He did Bad Blood, one of the funniest episodes, the one with Luke Wilson about the vampires, and it was done in kind of a POV style where it was kind of back and forth, where we saw how other people saw Mulder and Scully by their interviews, they were being interviewed, and their POV like changed the story and everything. And then I'm going to skip to like Drive from season 6, which is where he was introduced to Bryan Cranston, who was the guy who couldn't stop driving.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
yeah. That's why I was like, she knew somebody from that episode, which is big. That's where he met Bryan Cranston. That's where like people wouldn't even have known him back then, because Malcolm in the Middle, I don't even think it started yet.
Right.
No. That would have been way before. Seinfeld as I think the dentist on that show. So that was a big one that got it going. He did like Ex-Cops, the one where it was like cops, but Mulder and Scully are on cops. So that's and more and tons that he co-written. And so for me, this is like anytime Vince Gilligan's up. It's why I love Breaking Bad, and I love Better Call Saul, because the guy's just an incredible writer. He knows how to craft so many good stories, and all those stories that I've given you, like they're all so unique and they never repeat. And just the brain in this guy, the ideas he can come up with, the imagination. That's what I appreciate, is seeing something different. And right. Vince always gives us something different, even with Better Call Saul being a spinoff. It is tonally so different, even if they're going to crash into the same beats.
Sure.
The way that we are presented things is completely different. Only through line really is Albuquerque is still continuing here in Pluribus.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's his place, man.
And another great thing now is that he has plans. When he makes a show, we can now know for sure, right, that they might not know all the details when they're writing, but he has a plan. He's got a beginning and an end. And we know these aren't going to go on, even if the studio might try to extend things, like how they made season 5, basically 2 seasons for Breaking Bad, because, hey, let's get all the awards. Let's just take them from everyone.
Sure. Why stop the momentum?
He knew what he wanted to do, and he got out, and it ended perfectly, in my opinion. And the same with Better Call Saul. It went on. There were times when we had to wait longer because of things going on in the world. But the show went its natural course and ended. And now you get to Pluribus. This concept that I didn't even really understand, even up till practically watching the show, which now I'm going, I know that he has a plan.
Right.
And the reason I'm saying this is because a lot of people, like shows just go on too long. Even good ones. Like really good ones. The X-Files went on too long. Or most recently, a show that I kind of gave up on and then went back to, and to finish it, just to say I finished it, was The Handmaid's Tale. And I mean, like Walking Dead went, on for 11 seasons and spin-off after spin-off after spin-off. So what I like about Vince is that I know when I'm going into a new show of his that we're going to get a concise story. It's going to go on for exactly how long it needs to go on. And with this show, I'm like, man, this could even, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'd be fine even if this was just one season. Because this concept is so, I don't know what they're going to do with it. It seems on the surface pretty simple. you got to stop us. You either got to stop or join something.
Sure.
So that's just my like whole preamble of like the Vince Gilligan connection to all this and everything. Now we get into it.
Well, and that was kind of, to me, the exciting bit is I really knew so little going into this. You know, you had talked about it and you're like, Vince Gilligan, we're going to do it. And I'm like, I'm in. I know nothing about the show. I'm in. Went home, threw on the trailer for it. And the trailer tells you kind of nothing, which, like you said, is perfect. It's like, all right, there's obviously something weird with the world. Don't know what's going on. She's mad all the time and they just want to make her happy. I have no, this is such, what is this? So when it finally debuted, I was like, oh, and my wife, do you want to watch it? And it's been a long week and we were both kind of tired and we're like, I don't know if I want to dive anything news. I don't really know what it's about. Let me just wait. We kind of waited and waited and waited. And finally this morning, I'm like, dude, I got to watch this. We're going to talk about this tonight. Get up early, throw it on. I'm like, my wife comes in. I'm a half hour into it. I'm like, I'm stopping this. I'm going to restart it. You're going to sit down. You're going to want to watch this. And yeah, the next 2 hours. So you're right. It was beautiful. And like, it told you nothing about what was going on. And it starts with this countdown. And you're like, okay, is that until something happens or until something ends? Or it's like, you know, what? And it just, the show is so freaking smart. It's beautifully shot. It does great with background action. There's no exposition, but they'll give you just stuff happening that you can plainly see in what's going on and allows you to just fill in all of the blanks. People are smart. Even the mistake that sort of sets this all off is a very understandable one, and they do everything right to try and fix and whatever, but it's just, it overcomes. Later on, when Helen goes down and she's all panicky and running around and like trying to fix, all of the choices that she makes, all the choices people make are smart choices. So much people are being dumb and stupid things, and that's where the comedy or that's where the drama or whatever comes in. To me, this was great because the comedy came because of the ridiculousness and craziness of the situation that you just have to kind of laugh at it sometimes. The drama is there because you're making all the right choices and thing is still going to shit. And it's so refreshing to just get pulled into this great human told story of just a thing that happens and how people deal with it. As fanciful and amazing it is, I felt everybody from the first guy driving across the screen in the beginning in the truck at the radio telescopes there outside of Albuquerque to, you know, the nurse and the doctor in the hospital, Dr. DeWin, to everybody is real in this show. I didn't felt any fakeness to it. And it's, sorry, that's one thing I had to gush about, because it was just like watching it. I was just like, things can be good. Stuff can be written well. It can happen. And it was just so nice to experience that.
I know, man. I freaking know. It's like you're just sitting there, like when the two scientists are like looking at the thing and geeking out over it, and the way he's like,
I know,
like just that simple thing of how a person is. He's just that guy. That's how he laughs. Like all these touches that make all the world feel real. And Rena's in the chat. Trailer show so little. Hey Rena, welcome to the chat. I'm glad you're here. Just every little detail is so meticulously, I can just see the storyboards planned out, and yeah, like you just sit there with a smile on your face, and like just as much as Severance is good, this is just another great original product from a well-established creator, and I love feeling like, there's no offense to even Severance, but I love that I can just sit back and see this. What I like is in the interview they were talking about, this is a lean forward show, not a sit back and watch, which is what you did, right?
Yeah.
You're like, it's time to really pay attention. But I can just relax and know I'm in good hands.
Right.
That everything I'm about to see is just going to be one thing after another. I'm just like, it is television zen. All right, no matter what the subject matter is. And so we should talk about that subject matter, which is that, and again, Vince comes from the X-Files, where alien viruses and alien conspiracies are run amok. So he's got the chops to handle that. And we're going to get to the book fans arena. We are, because I got stuff. There is stuff to say about every single fucking thing.
I know.
Okay?
Their establishment of everything was just so perfect. Ooh.
So we get this communication from 600 light years away, right? Is it 600 million or 600?
600 light years away, yeah.
600 light years away. These guys geeking out over it. Everybody coming together to like figure out it's not this, and just the way that they're talking to each other. I know,
squeezing them all into this tiny shed.
Yeah, just nerding out, shooting down things. Well, it might be this. It's not that. It's not that. Like, it's not. Nobody's freaking out. I love it. I mean, and they even bring up like what we sent out. Like, what did you send out? Chuck Berry? Which no, we did not send out Chuck Berry. We sent all the classical music and stuff. But and DNA sequences and everything else. And we get this back, and we don't even, when we cut away, we don't know what he realizes it is. Which I think is telling, or maybe something that we'll find out, because I think it's important that they just suddenly go, boom, science lab. Now we're in this.
We learn with them. Again, it doesn't have to tell us. There's nobody that has to go, oh, it's this. I mean, we kind of get it at the end with the big broadcast to Carol, but I mean, in a way, it makes sense at that point, but they don't handhold you through the whole thing. They just tell the story.
Yeah. And it's just, what are they doing? They're testing something. Poor rats.
Yeah.
All this work being done. It's, they don't know what's going on. They even said earlier, like, why did they make it hard to understand and all this other stuff? To when we do get to what, is that cliched moment of, oh, something's wrong. Okay, well, I can't tell because the gloves. And as soon as you saw that something was wrong, we all know what that means. This is going to be that thing. And it makes me go, did they know? Did something know that this was because, okay, they just have the information. Would they know that at some point this is how it would spread? You know what I'm saying? Like, do they go, well, they're going to screw it up somehow? Because let's say this doesn't happen. Let's say she doesn't get bit. How long before something else? Like, how would the delivery system work? What was the overall plan? If this rat it's kind of like the rat that climbs on the thing in Endgame that releases Ant-Man out of the quantum realm. If that doesn't happen, the movie doesn't happen. If the rat doesn't bite this lady, how does the infection spread? Right? What would be the plan for that? Sorry, we're getting like into deep story type of shit.
Oh, no, my whole first page of notes is going to be nerd time, folks. So,
go. If you've got like something about this that you want to talk about, like as far as this part.
Because to me, as a science guy, to me, this was all super fascinating. And the minute that he walks in, he goes, "Oh yeah, we have a lysogenic. We think it's a lysogenic virus." I'm like, okay, so viruses can be made up of DNA or RNA. Your typical virus is an RNA virus. It goes in, inserts its RNA, it takes over the protein replicating processes, overproduces viruses until the cell lyses, explodes, releasing all of the made viruses, which then seek off and try to invade other cells, and that's how it spreads. Lysogenic viruses are made with DNA, and they come in and insert themselves into the host's DNA, where they can replicate for long periods of time without releasing any virus and effectively hide. It's like, was it the CRISPR gene editing that you see around that can like snip this, and slit stuff in and pull stuff out? This is a natural version of that goes in and hides its DNA inside. And it's like herpes and such does this, where it can sit for a long period of time, and then something happens outside which stimulates the production of the cell, and then it goes into its lytic stage, where it over-replicates and bursts and things like this. This is, again, less like a virus and more like that CRISPR idea, where it comes in, they make this strand, and then it gets out, infects the humans, and then replicates and permanently affixes itself to its DNA and stays there because it will replicate naturally with the cell, and it replicates the all rest of the DNA. So it's kind of like a permanent there for life type of thing. And it would also effectively do the sexual reproductive cells so that your DNA and RNA and your sperm or eggs or whatever will also carry this particular viral strain. Which is kind of a very cool, like, take over the human race kind of idea. It makes them a little bit of us. Which is also, to me, fascinating because you're right. Not only does it have to get out, but you have to be DNA-based and sufficiently advanced enough to receive the signal, understand the signal, and be able to replicate it and follow its instructions. So it's like purposely spreading only towards a certain level of technically advanced civilization, which is also cool. And then the kind of cool science stuff is like, well, that implies that DNA is persistent throughout the universe, or at least the galaxy, that it is a natural formation of life, which we have sort of thought about with like spermogenesis and such, which is the fact that the idea is that like planet seeding, that comets or asteroids or whatever can carry bits of DNA across stellar distances and deposit them on planets, and that sort of seeds life throughout the universe. And they have found a lot of these proteins in comets and stuff like that. They seem to be kind of like naturally occurring. Which would mean this is also implying that life is thus persistent and similar enough throughout the universe. Because if it's DNA, it's carbon-based and it's DNA-based, then what's to say that it's not making life forms similar to us? I mean, we've seen throughout the world, even on continents separated by time, long periods of time, cats are everywhere. You go to Australia, which has a whole non-mammalian reproduction system, and they still make like dogs and cats. So the idea that like, to me, that like these Star Trek people are just like people throughout, only they look slightly different, but they're all generally humanoid and stuff, may not be so far from the truth. If they're all DNA tends to follow similar blueprints every time that it evolves. So I start geeking out because I'm like, I know they could go in so many or none of these directions, but just the idea of like an alien species that spreads itself by making another civilization create a copy of its DNA to insert into its, it's brilliant and kind of evil too. Which to me, like, again, where are they going to go with this? How long will we deal with? Because it's like they want to get get them. They've already said, oh, I thought I could drink this water and it's going to turn me into you. Oh no, we're at least months away from that. So it's not like they're not planning stuff. Sorry if that's my whole little science geek bit there.
No, dude, you know how much I just love that? Oh my God. So then also right, is what if this wasn't, okay, they were sending information.
Yeah.
We took the information and started working with it. So we don't even know if this is the intention. Okay. What happened was an accident. So we can't know for sure yet whether or not they knew we'd screw this up somehow, or are we going to find out later that this is not like, oh God, what did you do? You know, like,
well, I mean, I would say actually, I think their plan is to do that at some point it would get out. We're going to seed curious, irresponsible civilizations and see who replicates this. You know, because again, they had good lab procedures for the most part. It just outclassed them. You know, it took advantage of the one little mistake that happened and was able to jump. But they've already tried smaller animals. They may just keep trying to larger animals until, again, a mistake happens. So maybe it just delays.
They had been working with macaques and other animals. So here we are. I just love to think like outside the box on that of like.
Well, no, but it obviously is designed for someone like a human where it could do that, because it wasn't like linking all the rats. And we're not genetic. I mean, we are genetically different, but we're all mammals. We're all air breathers. We all produce. I mean, there are a lot of similarities, which is why we test medicines on rats. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the exciting thing is we don't bother with the simple stuff. We just want to get into the ones that are smart.
I like that the one doctor was the guy from Deadpool, the cab driver. The Deadpool movies, and just how creepy. Because I mean, part of this is, you know, it's an alien thing. Part of this feels like a zombie thing.
Oh, so, yeah.
Like like if anybody wanted to say like I'm over zombies. Zombies have been done to death. It's done, and there's no. How do you make another original idea out of zombies? And you have like the most original, fucked up way that a zombie apocalypse starts, which is just through that, like, nobody's biting anybody. It's just a big old smooch on the lips.
Yeah. And
instantly they're now working in a lab, making little smiley faces with their DNA, swabbing everything. Just working. Alyssa Jean's here. Hey, Alyssa, how's it going? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the conversation. To where, like, to what ends, you know, the janitors got it. That looks like a DoorDash guy got it in there, like a delivery man, like was bringing donuts or something. And yeah, the donuts, just the, like, oh, we're going to get everybody. And as happy as they all are, to me, that's like that first sign of like, they all know we're all happy. Everything is wonderful, right? But it still it's already like creepy as hell. Of like, just because we have to deal with like, there's no consent here.
Right.
Everybody is just jumping to each person until we cut to Ray Seahorn as this author, Carol. And she's doing a book reading at like a Barnes and Noble for her fans for her latest book. Kind of a Dune pirate thing / Star Trek, whatever. I don't know. I kind of want to read it. Just because also
got purple sand, man.
It feels like it also leans very heavily into like a like it, I feel like it's kind of an interesting genre because it also feels very much like a romance novel.
Right.
Hence, like, and no offense, but all the there's like one guy with a sword and everybody else is ladies, and they're hanging on every word about Raban. Oh, and the first thing I thought of when I was watching this scene was, oh God, this is what we look like when we're at a con. I've seen other scenes like this before, but seeing as how I've just been going to cons over the last 5 years, the most of my life, I'd never been to a con. And you don't look at yourself when you're out there. You're just geeked out and you're happy and you're like, and then I realize, oh my God, this is what I look like. This is what we all look like when we go up to somebody famous about things. And I just kind of went, oh man, I gotta knock that shit off. I can do better. I can do better at that.
I can do better.
Seriously, you should have seen me when I walked up to meet Hugh Dancy from Hannibal. It was embarrassing. In retrospect, I'm like, oh my God, I just met the guy who plays, what's his character's name? Will.
Yeah.
And Hannibal. And I'm like,
yeah, but look, I mean, you got to figure, I think it really comes down to ultimately, I don't know. I used to joke that, the difference between romance and stalking is how it's received.
Yeah.
If you like the person, it's romantic. If you don't like it, they're stalking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's kind of the same way. I mean, I love how they place this up because she is so engaged and so with them and so ready to do everything. And yet even watching, you can sort of see like, oh man, she's suffering through this, isn't she? She is working it. Oh, and yeah. they do have that afterwards. And I think it's different depending on, again, how it's received. If it's someone that's just like, I just got to get through it because that's the way that it is. Yeah, then you're all going to look like a geek. If they're excited that the fans are excited about the work that they do, then I think they can share your excitement. So I think it's just one of those, again, it's like, how is it being received on the other end? And you can never really know that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it does make you wonder now. It does make me wonder, like, how many people are like, putting on a show. How much of a show are they putting on for you?
Well, live it up, but be respectful. You can do the balance.
Yeah, but I mean, she's really nice to all her fans, but that's how you keep people reading your books, and how you keep people interested is you engage with them. And it's like, part of me always has wondered, though, it's like, okay, you want people to do this, but then like you get into the limo and say, do you like, mindless crap? So it's like she's not even, we start to already see so much about her right off the bat of like, she doesn't like what she does. She wants to write other things. She's makes a lot of money, and at least Helen calls her out on it. Oh, poor you, all this money.
Oh yeah, no,
all these fans that love you. And
perfect to set it up that way and kind of set that. And by the way, I have to say, I freaking love the establishment of that relationship with just the handhold and that moment. And I was like, oh yeah, of course they are. Okay, now I get why all of this is. It was like simply done, didn't have to do a whole lot with it, and did set up everything. Their relationship, where she's really coming from, and why she has this point of view that, she's constantly posing to be successful in her life. Which is great because it shows how isolated she is because the relationship is hidden that we set up very quickly, which is why when it all falls apart, she is in the unique position that she is, that we see is so different from the handful of other survivors, which sets up this whole other interesting dichotomies of storyline. But no, I mean, it's, again, so simply and so beautifully done.
Yeah. I wasn't, going to immediately just say that they were together in a relationship. I wanted to think, because she's like her agent, like she's there, like her handler. she's there to take, like be her friend, like how close are they? As I'm watching it, I'm just taking it all in. She moves the books, and the way that her attitude was kind of like, you're my employee a little bit, like I'm looking over there, I can't do it, but my assistant can, my like, because she manages her, right? So is she her manager? Like there's part of a job element to this. So I didn't want to assume. And they go to the bar, and I love that every single scene is amazing, by the way. I don't want to just talk about every single
just the little napkins over the top of the drinks.
Yeah. Oh, another great detail. And how they're talking and they're going to smoke, and again, it just feels like friendship. And then when they're in the parking lot and they're talking about, so and so left a comment, was Robin based on an actual man, and how that's a silly question. And who do you want to give them anything? Like, just say it's George Clooney. And I still wasn't thinking anything about it. It's like maybe she's just trying to misdirect. She's trying to deflect. She doesn't want to answer. She's closed off about this. It's a personal thing to her. Why would she tell them? And she says it's safer. And that should have been where I got clued in, and that's what I went back to done later, was when they talk about it. Oh, when they finally break it out through the conversation that they're having, it's revealed for sure that they were, in a relationship. And that's when the whole George Clooney thing for me changed everything. I was like, oh, safer. Yeah. She didn't want to, like, again, it's like how people have opinions on YouTube but don't want to share them because they're afraid they're going to fuck up their base.
Sure. Well, and Alyssa hits it on perfectly here in the chat. She says that I think the revelation later that Kara originally wanted this to be a lesbian romance, but didn't probably informs why she is so spiteful towards her own work. She knows she sold out her identity to make money. And yeah, exactly. Because you would not have the same audience that you would there. You would not have the same, breadth of appeal.
Yeah.
You would have maybe success within that target audience, but it would be limited.
Yeah. It'd be more niche.
Yeah.
And people would be like, oh, whatever. And, and if this were to be made into a movie or whatever, it'd be woke garbage, so it's just really interesting. Again, it says so much about who she is in this moment of like, does she loathe like the way, her own, but she's private too. So it's kind of like she doesn't really care about what the rest of the world, she cares about her. She cares about Helen.
Yeah.
That's it. They're an island of two. I feel like they're the kind of people who just go and do things and laugh and go, look at that person, while they just enjoy their lives together. And I know people like that. There's plenty of people who just kind of close themselves off. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. If that's what you like, that's what you like.
Well, and if she's in a closeted relationship, it shows that she probably doesn't have a lot of friends. In fact, we don't really see any connection with any friends.
We don't know anything about parents.
Yeah.
Or siblings. Like, that could definitely be some stuff to pull out of the hat story-wise of, like, what happens if she runs into somebody she knows like this? Or why haven't they? Why didn't they send somebody that she knew outside of, like, the pirate lady, which we'll get into?
Which, honestly, I thought was like a sister or something when we first saw the character before she was established who she was. So, yeah.
And as this all kicks off, Guy gets out of the bar, crashes the car. She tries to help. He's like having a seizure to her, right? And then her friend drops, or Helen drops. And we get this great moment when she goes into the bar. That shot when she first goes in,
in front of the glasses
and the drinks just shaking, and you have no idea what that is. Oh my God, to do the flip reveal of the waitress and everybody just freaking out. Oh my God.
Well, and even as they go out to get drinks, they had done in the background, they have the news position of like military base locked down before you see the planes out, but they don't bring any attention to it. It's just them going out, and that's just clear clear in camera, a whole third of the screen right there.
Before she goes down and she points out that the planes are all going in the same direction. And now we know why.
Yeah.
Because they all had a mission. They were all like, oh, time to do this. Let's all
Chemtrail
go.
time.
Time to do this. So, it just, all this escalates, trying to get her in the truck, all this stuff. And I'm going to give you my only gripe.
Yeah.
Right now. And it's a gripe. It's just a thing. I couldn't help but wish, just for myself, this is only my stupid opinion. Everybody, you're not, like, if you like this, you like this. I don't hate it. I kind of wish that there had been no score. Because to me, it's creepier without the over-the-top dramatic music that made me feel like I was kind of watching an older B movie, like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where it's just to me, it would have played much better. No music, just her desperately trying to get her friend help. How does she do it? All this crazy shit's going on around her, right? And she still only gives a shit about her and her friend. She's concerned about the situation. She's freaked out, but like her main focus isn't helping anyone.
Right.
It's to get Helen in the truck to a hospital right now.
Yeah. Singular focus.
As much as I know every show has a score, it just felt too big to me. It was very loud and bombastic, and it just kind of took me a little out of it. It didn't make me stop focusing on what was happening, but I mentioned it to Bill that was watching it with me last night. It's just, wow. Like, to me, it would have been creepier and more effective. So that's it. That's my only gripe. The intro music that they played in like the second episode beginning and all that. I like that intro. I really do. I think it's simple and
fast.
I like the sequencing that they do of Pluribus, and like it looks like the information, right? So there's a score that the guy did. I can't remember what the composer's name is, but it's not a knock on his work. The only other thing I thought was, man, it's a real damn shame Mark Snow passed away recently. The guy who did the music for the X-Files.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
Would have been perfect. Get that if that guy could have done it, or wouldn't it have been crazy if like that was Mark Snow's last work? But it's not. It didn't happen, and I don't get it. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's my only freaking gripe at all.
Real quick in the chat here also lists, is that how they infected so many people at once with the planes? Don't think you picked up on that first. That's how they did the big spread. I think for the month they were saying they were spreading it with nobody getting hurt. And I think, that it was an easy thing. And those people were probably infecting other places at distances and going and traveling. But yeah, effectively, once they were discovered by the military, they had to go with the crop dusting, version. And then they just basically seeded everyone, and that got everybody else. Yeah. So, yeah. But I'm assuming, yes, it was probably more than just outside of Albuquerque that was happening at a lot of other places. And that's what they had been doing for that month. So all the panic, getting in the truck, pushing the guy in the side. She doesn't even get him out of there. No, she was smart.
Yeah. Everything she did was like what you would do.
Yeah.
Gets to the hospital. I love when she almost she almost knocks the baby over. She's trying to make sure that the baby stays steady and doesn't drop. But there's a look she gets when she looks into the bassinet or whatever it is, the little baby carriage.
Yeah.
That look on her face when she sees that's one of those great just let us see her face. We don't need to see.
Yes.
That.
Exactly. I was like, great. We don't need to see the baby doing its thing. We could just read off of her and know exactly what's going on. I completely agree.
And when, Dr. Nguyen and all this, and when they all suddenly get up, again, very just zombie apocalypse, just the friendliest zombie apocalypse ever. Nobody's eating anybody, just kissing. Just a little bit kissy. When they all just turn, and I mean the lighting of this whole thing, the sequence with just the hospital and the electricity popping off and just the lights coming off of her and everything, and this is so beautiful. And again, I think one of the great reasons this needed to be on something like Apple is the budget. This would have been the budget for AMC would have hack it away. Can't do this, can't do that, can't afford this. Doesn't matter how many awards you've won us, Vince. Fuck you, you're gonna have to make it cheaper. And when they all say, like, we just want you to be happy, Carol, like, oh my God, I just about to get it all in unison perfectly, like they do throughout the first 2 episodes. It is so creepy and so perfect.
Oh no. Well, I mean, to me, this is where you get so much of that great dichotomy, because some of it is like almost comical, but it's, for her standpoint, that makes it almost even more terrifying. And I love that they kept that tone there, because it really, again, it kept it very grounded and real, even where there are times where, like, I almost want to laugh and almost want to freak, and because it's weird, but she wasn't giving up anything. Her journey was very consistent, and I appreciate that. And yeah, you didn't have any like comic little like music cues or anything like that.
Yeah,
it was and again, everybody was just, everything happened the way that it seemed like it should. Everyone was responding well, how she did, and pulled everything out. The only concern I had was like, man, you've got that truck gate open and you're driving down. She's still on that sort of wheeled little thing. I hope Carol doesn't like flop out of the back of the truck when she was escaping the hospital. But yeah.
I totally get though what you're saying about how you almost want to laugh. The movie Weapons does the same thing, where it's like you go, oh my God, this is almost funny. If you didn't realize that, taken from the person's perspective, this is terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, they play that really well in that movie as well. And this is another great example of that kind of thing, where it's like it's an uncomfortableness that you almost feel the need to laugh, but don't. We find out in this, the next scene when she finally gets home, that they all have everyone's thoughts, including Helen's. How would they know about the key?
Right.
All this stuff. The kids talking. We, us. Oh my God.
Kids are always freaky, folks. Always scary.
Just the trippiest, coming home and the TV is literally talking to you. The guy sitting there, news on. You wouldn't, she doesn't even notice right away. I love it. It's, oh my God, thank God. Oh, God bless America.
Then she starts reading the Chiron. Call us, Carol, whenever you're ready.
Oh my God. Like, and just that, like, that out of your body, you must feel like you've gone insane.
Yeah. Oh no, totally. I mean, that's the great. Yeah, exactly. It's like this is
like
not
Michael Douglas in the game, when the guy in the TV suddenly starts going, hello, like, and you're like, what? Like, you're talking to me? And then this is kind of our exposition, where this guy gets to be the thing. And it's such a funny way of, like,
somebody put that PowerPoint presentation together. They were working all day on that.
You can call that number. Shut up. Don't do this. Don't tell me that.
Live, folks. He's dialing.
I'm dialing it live. We're doing it live.
Doing it live.
202-808-808. Hey, that's that number that Jesse uses in Albuquerque. Hang on a second. Hi, Carol. We are so glad you called. Dial 0 and we'll get you back. We'll call you back. Oh my God. Call that number if you want to hear that message. Holy shit. That is amaze balls.
You know, I so love it when you have that little crossover. They just chef's kiss.
Oh, God, I love this so much. I just
Such
love
a
it even more
nerd.
now.
Such nerds here, folks.
Yeah, so what happens is they say hello. They think you're Carol when you call them. They act like they're talking to Carol. That's amazing. Apparently the president and all of his cabinet are dead.
Sure.
Not sure I care. Depends on what universe this is. Maybe the president in that universe was nice.
By the way, when they give the number of people that die, that is about 10% of the Earth's population.
Yeah.
Which means it was decimated. I always thought decimated reduced it to a much smaller number, but no, it's only reducing it by 10%, which obviously is a lot of people when you're looking at 8.5 billion total. But yeah, it was like, because I was curious, it's like, what is the rate of the death on this infection? Because we did see other people around on it, on the ground in front of the hospital and stuff that were all being picked up. So we know that like certain number of people died, but yeah, so 1 out of 10.
Nope. That's not a good number.
No, it's not
good. That is not good data. That is not acceptable. So she can't take it and she hangs up. You know, it would be too much. And I haven't had a drink in over 8 years. I'd be busting open a bottle too.
Sure. I mean, yeah.
At that point, I'd be making the biggest Caucasian in the entire universe. It would be like a bucket of White Russian. I would just
smoke them if you got them, folks.
Yeah, you know, I've always meaning to try crack.
I'm good on that one. Yeah.
Not really. So we get to our second episode where now we have to deal with there's a dead body here. And we get this I love how long this is to show the detail of this woman covered in dirt going out, and they're all working to pull bodies from everywhere. Whoever you are, wherever you are, apparently you just, I mean, do you receive orders? Who's telling you to go where?
You just agree to do what needs to be done, man. It's collective consciousness.
So, you know, like, was she always there? Did she come from somewhere else? Did she walk there? Look at how dirty she is. But to just, and it's so matter of fact. It's just doing one thing and then like passing the baton. A bike pulls up, she just gets on it, puts on the helmet and just goes. Beautiful. I don't know if they were really on location there or whatever, but it was beautiful. If that wasn't real, I couldn't tell.
Oh, the camera tracking shots going down as she's racing down the on that bike in and out of track. It was just, yeah, it was. I
felt like I was there. I really want to go there. I don't know where it was, but it's beautiful, and it's desolation. Even in its desolation, it looked beautiful. To the understanding now, even more, that they all know everybody is basically the same person.
Yeah.
And that this person covered in dirt just can get on a cargo plane and fly off. I love that she's flying over a crashed plane where they're pulling out bodies. And how when she lands, everyone is all set to make her up perfectly. Somebody's working on a wig. Somebody's got the makeup out. She just drops her clothes off and walks into the shower, like knowing where she's going.
Hands her a drink while she's like, okay, get hydrated before doing that. And yeah.
And then next hard cut to trying to bury somebody in your backyard. Just boom. There she is. Already made up. Hi.
And by the way, can I just give Vince, another big round of applause and thanks for showing how hard it actually is to dig a frickin' hole. They always have people digging graves. They get a little shovel and they're like, dig a grave in like an hour or whatever. It's like, no. Digging is hard. There's rocks and volcanic, and the fact it's like you got to go get a pickaxe. It's the only way to get into the ground. I just appreciated that so much because I always hate it when people are just quick digging holes. And no, man, try and dig a hole. It's hard.
But you don't know if you're gonna hit a gas line or what. You just start going. This is where we're introduced to Carolina Widra as, well, it says Anna, but it says Zosha. They call her Zosha.
Yeah.
Or Pirate Lady.
I like Pirate Lady.
For all of you fans out there that, okay, like Rena will appreciate this because I'm Mr. IMDb and pull people's names and characters and where they come from out of a hat. The first thing I saw when I saw this actress was, that's the lady that House had a green card marriage with back in back on House. I was like, that's who that is. She's House's green card wife. So I don't know how I do it, but I do it. It's my job.
Very nice
to know people from all these random things. She's great. She's great. And having to exude this happiness, this elation, on top of we know everything. I can be anyone at any time, get any information at basically, other than like what would be, you know how in Rango the one lizard would just suddenly go. I don't know if you saw Rango.
Oh yeah.
But she just kind of
just zone out for a moment.
Zones out, and then she just gets the information like a computer on buffer or something. Like, hang on. And then have to have that elation. And what I like about this character is because how so much of this show is going to be about identity and holding on to your identity. Do I give up the self?
Sure.
To like my personal identity. And I love how Rhea plays this, and I love how Anna plays this. And I love that this is a small cast, at least so far, where we get it. This is the avatar for this, and Rhea is the avatar of us.
Right.
And how giving up your identity, giving up your individuality, and how would you react to all of this if you were one of the few people left? And I got to say, and I said this again last night when we were watching it, I'm like, I know that, like, and there's other characters when she meets the five, they're like, they want to join up because they've asked, what does this feel like? And I immediately was like, I would be like Carol. I would be like Carol. I know this about me. If somebody tells me that I'm got to join up, if I didn't get infected and I didn't have it, I had free will still, I would be Carol telling everybody, get the fuck away from me, and be fighting this like tooth and nail. Even if there was part of me that wanted to just give in, I would be like, no, this is wrong. This is,
I think this was the great thing about how they did the setup, and another reason why I'm glad they gave us both episodes, because the first episode was kind of like setup, and then the second episode actually like let us live in this world for a minute and actually see what this was really kind of like. Because we follow Carol's story, obviously everything is perfectly logical and makes sense why she is so mad and why she's angry. She lost the love of her life and she has no one else. And now it's just frickin' pod people.
I'm forced to be with everyone.
Yeah.
You are literally hanging out with every single person in the entire world in the body of one person.
Oh, we just want to make sure you're okay. Yeah, we've got a drone up there about 40,000 feet. Just keep it in. Oh, you're freaked out by. Oh, no, we're sending it away. Yes, this is very Twilight Zone, X-Files feeling of like the whole world is here just to serve. No, this is. So it's great. And then when we meet these other people, the other five, well, what if your experience was different? What if Helen didn't die? Carol's feeling on the whole thing might be entirely different, that she could still feel like she's talking with Helen and not entirely, because there seems to be, you can have some sort of personal ID thing. You know what as Secretary of Agriculture was like, this form is Davis so-and-so, and he had a suit on.
Yeah, when you talk like that, you're just not telling me that you're that person anymore, you know? Like,
right. But again, it's kind of interesting. Or you have, Air Force One guy who obviously it's all about him.
Oh, yeah.
And he doesn't really care. It's like, and he brings up a good point. He's like, there's no murdering going on. There's no robbing. There's none of that stuff that's happening. So I don't know. Is this really so bad? Plus everyone here to serve me. I got a lot of women in Air Force One.
And again, it's showing us exactly what someone would do given that kind of opportunity. He's just an opportunist.
And we see the breadth because, we still have the mom that's like, what? I still have my family and my kid. Or you have the girl that's like, that seems so much happier than my life right now. Yeah, I'd love to be one with the group. So it gives us a nice slice of like, what if Carol's circumstances had been different or her character had been different? But no, she's isolated. She's hiding from the world. She can't really be herself. And now the whole world's there around her. Yeah, I agree with you. I'd have the same response. I'd be like, I'd rather burn the world down than become a part of that.
Yeah, I'm not joining your club. Alyssa says, I'm really curious if we're going to get any backstory via flashbacks on any of these characters. I would be curious what their lives were like before this, especially Pirate Lady. I think, I don't know. I feel like on one hand, I agree. I would like to see something at some point. I think right now what's great about it is that none of them have any identity. They just are. For now, I think that trying to break through that, though, has got to be a point of some story beat where trying to get through to the person. Can you still find that person within all that? Because there's moments, right, where she struggles, it seems. She's not smiling all the time, which, they seem to always just be, we'll just do this. Hi, fine, we're good, Carol, blah, blah, blah. But after getting, and again, we haven't talked about this, getting blasted with her temper, causing her to go down, and then finding out that everyone went down, that's changed, and that she killed 11 million people in her anger.
Yes, I would throw up too.
Okay. All right. And I know, and Bill told me like, well, you can't really know unless you've like been in that situation. And I don't know what this says about me, but I'm one of those people who, if something's happening in front of my face, I tend to accept it.
Sure.
And compartmentalize.
Survival instinct,
11 million. As horrified as I'd be, I don't think I'd throw up. I know that I don't know what that says about me, but
it's hard to grasp.
I think my brain would break more than have a physical reaction. I'd probably just be like, 11 million? I couldn't even comprehend that. I hear it. I hear the number, and I just like, I've seen crowds of people, and I have to like go, okay, so they all just, if I saw 11 million people go down, then I'd probably be like a lot more.
Basically everyone in LA County.
Oh my God. Let's segue.
Now he's going to throw up, folks. Oh.
To how she immediately realized that Pirate Lady is the Raban, the female version of Raban, which brings out the whole, how do you know this? I never told anybody this finding out that Helen was joined to us and she was happy with this, and her rejecting that, being like, why would my Helen want to be a part of this? But also just that idea that the thought that had to go into every, like, did Helen didn't tell them that, they just used Helen's information to say, this is the face that she would like more than anything, is this thing she didn't allow herself to have.
Yeah.
And it's like so manipulative that, again, it's like, what is on the surface of all this? Hi. We're going to do all this stuff for you because really, like, even allowing, horny McBoner or whatever she called him, right? To just have sex with all these people that are, if they're still people,
the idea of consent and interaction or any of those things that we sort of think of are all up in the air, because basically whatever this, and by the way, I love the fact that they just say, how does this work? We don't know. Perfect. It's like, fine, you cover the bases. It's beyond our knowledge, but it does buy away. But however this gene goes, it's basically a Wi-Fi connection for everyone else, which then uploads and distributes memories. In some ways, it's a great backup, because even if you lose an individual unit, their memories and experience are still backed up in the cloud.
Yeah.
Which is kind of everyone else, which in a way was actually I think the original idea of the Matrix wasn't that they were energy, they weren't batteries. They were using the brain as part of the processing power. We were basically computer chips inside of a larger chip, a larger machine. So, which is honestly kind of a cooler idea overall, but I guess they felt that audiences wouldn't, it was easier to understand a battery as opposed to we're all computer chips in a giant computer idea. But yeah, the fact that, like, in that bit of just before she died, it was enough to upload all of her experience and distribute that amongst everyone else. And they do have a purpose. I mean, again, they talked about, we were doing it all quietly until we were discovered, and then we had to move out, and our purpose was to spread as quickly. It's like, you say it's a better way, and we've inherited this great gift, but you guys seem to have a plan too, which means that there's something else driving that's not you. Yeah.
So it's like, all right, they say they're still months away from figuring it out, right? And so they're kind of like lab rats in a way. They're on hold, right?
Yeah.
What happens if they don't figure it out? Is there a line or a limit to, like, okay, no, or, and then also, this is just, they're still cleaning up. This has just happened. Right. So what's next? Jobs? Like,
what is our collective
make TV
purpose?
Shows anymore? Do people put on plays? Do people work at a grocery store? Okay, so no more meat killing, so no more this. Like, do we suddenly, I imagine easy things would be getting rid of using oil, and we'd all have solar power and all these things that we need in real life. Those kind of things would probably happen. But, like, then there's also the question of people that were serial killers, or because if they have all the information, right, that means that they also know the worst of us, not just the best of us. They talked about all these jobs. We've seen people do things and get information and all that stuff, but the evil is in all their minds too.
Well, and I just thought of this as we were talking, so we get to play with this idea in real time.
Good.
What is the purpose of a virus?
To replicate.
And spread.
Spread.
So if we have just been infected by an alien virus, what do we do tomorrow? What is our collective purpose? Is it to build giant transmitting machines to send copies of this virus back out into space? Again, that's just one idea of just this popping up. Is like, because
Yeah,
you're
no,
right.
you're absolutely right. Like, because
What-
otherwise,
What is the purpose of humanity if it's one idea? Right. You're not going to put on plays. You don't need to entertain anybody. You could just think this stuff and it all shares around. Any idea that you have is instantly shared and developed with the collective. You don't, but you do need a collective group in order to do a job, in order to get tasks done. So what is the purpose? And I think that it may end up being we got to build giant transmitters to send this stuff into space in every direction. That's the purpose of our existence now.
yeah,
Share this with everybody.
yeah, because like, okay, there would be no restaurants, right? Because it's not really fair that some people would have to work to feed you. Why do you have to like take care of them? There's no money, right? There's no capitalism.
They're
So,
working.
like,
You're making food for them so they can continue to work, or you're growing the food to transport to them. You're right. This is a great idea, but I think it removes any actual growth in the society, because what is there to do?
Yeah, you just sit there. Once everybody's like, they're in the cleanup phase and they have to figure out these people before they can move on. Okay. And like, again, like, what do you do in this? Like, if everything is so great, how do you continue? Like, what it drives you to continue? If you're not, they haven't talked about procreation. Like they haven't talked about, keeping the species going. Like, are we just like almost like in an Arthur or a Douglas Adams like Hitchhiker's Guidebook, like just some like speed bump along the way to the next signal? Like, okay, we need Earth because you guys can signal this other place over here. Like,
are we just a transmitting way station? I mean, I think that is the interesting stuff you can go in, but I'm excited, and I would believe Vince Gilligan would get into all of this stuff, which is what makes this really interesting, because there's going to have to be a purpose. We've got to see, even if they took 1% of the population to deal with the 11 people that are still alive and try and answer that question, that's still 80 million people to focus on that problem. And you can have the whole rest, the 99% of Earth's population, focused on whatever else. And yeah, maybe they'll develop technology that'll make life better. But I think ultimately you've got to, with a collective consciousness, there can only be a collective purpose. And yeah, why have restaurants? Why have clothing stores? Why have choice? Why have taste? Everything is simply to serve a purpose. The only people that care what you look like right now are the 11 people on the planet with individual taste.
Yeah.
Nobody else cares.
Like, there's a couple of moments like when she says, I don't ask a drug dealer about his heroin. Or when she, lashes out at Lakshmi by talking to her son about, what kind of speculum would you use?
Just dig right in. Just dig
like to prove to Lakshmi that's not your kid.
Well, yeah, but I mean, she's right at the point. So you could say that she's the only one that actually has the clear purpose. Like, these aren't these people anymore. They're copies. They're
of every single other person. Like, I guess what the thing is like, has Lakshmi actually sat down and talked to her kid about anything? Well, other than, hey, how does this feel?
I think that's probably the point. That will be part of the exploration that we will get of the story. And it may not be Lakshmi. This will probably be Carol talking in, and maybe, do babies also have all that knowledge? Yeah.
I just read that. Like, yeah. And what would that do to a baby just sitting there with the inability to speak? But if you put it in a plane and you put the baby in the pilot's seat, put their little hands on the thing, if couldn't fly that fucking plane.
Look, you just got to wait until the coordination develops, and that maybe just be the biological process. But I mean, look, yeah, trying to imagine existence in that sort of collective consciousness, but as a baby, when you basically have no identity of your own, that's scary.
Yeah.
Because you are effectively a drone at that point. You have no self-referential idea.
Kind of makes me think of like some of the kids in Dune that are like have way too much brain power going on at a young age, where it's just like, it's just creepy. I'm trying to think of anything else. I mean, she lashes out 2 more times. There is nothing that they can do for her.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I called this too. As soon as they said that there's another guy here, but he has a plane, special plane coming, I went, it's Air Force One.
Yeah, I was curious what it was going to be.
One.
But as soon as they showed the front of the plane, I was like, oh, yeah.
It was Air Force One was my first. And then I was like, the Concorde? Do we even have the Concorde anymore? Maybe a space shuttle? Could you fly? Can you fly a space shuttle like a plane?
No, you can't. So. It's a glider. It has no propulsion by itself. Really,
I don't know.
It can go up, but it has to glide down. It's
Yeah, or like maybe a stealth bomber or something, maybe. But we get this like interesting conversation though when it becomes like Anna Zaja is gonna go off with Henry McBoner, and the conversation of choice here.
How fucked up is that? You have choice of anybody on the planet, and if somebody is interesting, you could literally talk to any person on the planet through anyone else on the planet. And you choose to take the one person that may be connected to someone else. That's kind of messed up, man.
Yeah, right. He could have asked for anybody. I mean, that would have been funny, and maybe it'll still come up of like, hey, could you get me Sydney Sweeney? Oh well, she died or something, or whoever. Yeah,
I want Sydney Sweeney come here and talk to me as if she was Zosia and all of her stuff, so I can talk to Zosia.
Yeah,
Sydney Sweeney.
Oh yeah.
So you have that option.
Yeah, because all you got to do is ask.
And
and is she available? I guess if somebody hasn't already requested her, then you have that choice. I can't make that choice. There's a thing that she says, right? Is that we can't protect you from each other.
Well, yeah, there's lots of these little things. By the way, when she said that we don't eat meat, I'd be like, by the way, go freeze every piece of meat that's actually out there in fridges, because that's got to feed me the rest of my life. I will eat some vegetarian, but I need steak sometimes, folks. I'm just a meat eater. That's me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least that was the one thing. That was the one thing that Horny McBoner said. He's like, well, what if I kill it? Will you cook it for me?
Yeah, and I appreciated that. I did appreciate that. And
we will mourn the loss.
I think he did have an excellent point when you don't even know her name.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes sense why Carol never even thought about it, because they're all freaking drones in her mind. So I know I'm like, oh, but he could have a conversation with her. Maybe he appreciates her as her individuality. I still think it's messed up that that's the person you're connecting it is the only person this other person has in the whole freaking planet. And you want to be like, can I take her for a while from you?
Yeah, you don't really need to see this guy's backstory to know what his past was probably like.
Yeah.
Probably nobody. He was probably just a big nobody and he was probably a not so great person in the first place. And so we get that scene though where, you know, it's about choice. You could tell us both to piss off, you know, you are. And this is where I really do like this character, because there does seem to be a little tiny bit of conflict where but the conflict seems to be like, I can't choose, it would hurt one of you two. And we don't hurt, we don't kill, we don't do any of that. But there's kind of like that struggle of like, you don't have to go with him just because he asks, because, you know, you to make him happy. Why the fuck do you care? He's got all these other people. Like, but then for her to basically be like, well, then just go. Knowing like, I don't know, that the reaching out, she's looking at her. She turns and looks at her back.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't know that she's looking at her, right? She doesn't know. She's not in Carol's mind, but she looks back at Carol. Is that kind of a hint of some kind of free will maybe on her part? Or is it still just concern for Carol being to like, well, maybe Carol's not happy now? Probably,
Well,
I mean, it's an interpretive thing, but
I mean, yeah, it is. And I think, you know, you could be the romantic and be like, hey, this is the remnant of Helen now speaking through Zosia, because she's the only one that knew this was originally going to be a lesbian novel, and this was something you turned away from. And if I am dead, I can give you this thing that I know that you love and want. You can look at it that way.
But at the same time, she's every person in the entire world looking at her also.
Yeah.
So is
this choice just going to make Carol unhappy? Is that why we turned back?
Yeah.
You know, and honestly,
it's more about Carol though in this moment, right?
And that's the cool part. Yeah.
Is to go, I'm not going to, whoever this person is, I could also think of this, who this person was, and maybe still could be if we can stop this. And I can't let her be this concubine for this guy. This just another notch in his harem belt. And I just love that. God, there's so many good shots in this, man. Of just standing in front of Air Force One.
Oh, like, yeah.
Stop. Oh my gosh.
Oh no, that's the end of the romantic movie right there in so many ways. Is she makes the choice to go back, and I don't care if you're a pod person, I still love you. Or it's simply that I am a person alone in the world. And after I lost the one person next to me, there was this one other person that looked like my greatest fantasy. Am I going to send her away, or am I going to hold on to her? Can I hold on to that connection, or do I have to push everything away? Because in a way, by pushing Pirate Lady away, she was literally pushing everyone away, pushing the world away from her.
It's one of those things where you get to say something that is absolutely accurate when you say literally for one.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's the thing. It's layered, and you can view on it all of these, and it's one of those things that, like, each of those layers are all perfectly valid and intended to bring us with all of these. Because, like, you got to have someone, but is it anyone? But can at least be someone. And are you going to turn it? Yeah, it's such a perfect way to end the first two episodes, our really first chunk into this world, to have both the I'm freaked out and you're all pod people to, but maybe you're my pod person.
Yeah. I'm just going to say this right now. This is one of the reasons, like, this is why I make YouTube videos, man.
Yeah.
This kind of show is what I dream of.
Totally.
This is like going to go for me, this conversation, these conversations we're going to have, especially this first one, is why I do what I do on here. This is going to go down for me as one of the best conversations we've had ever. This is going to be like something that I personally, I'm going to hold a really I already know this, and it's just started. I already know this is going to be a very special thing to talk about, that I'm going to be proud that I did. and I let myself talk about it. And I got you along with me and everybody else out there that joins in the chat. Alyssa and Rena, I know you're the only ones that were talking, but I'm just so happy that both of you have been here.
Totally.
I love it. I am clicking this moment because this is a special time right now that we're doing this. This feels good. And man, does it feel good to be talking about something really worthwhile talking about because of all the different things that it has to say, and not just, why didn't we spend any more time on Earth X? Or, why did we have to have the flashback episode in Alien Earth? Or what the hell was up with Secret Invasion in the first place?
Again, that's a fever dream. It doesn't exist.
This is why. And I want to thank everybody that watches this in the future. If you made it this far, Darrin, I'm so glad we're doing this.
Oh, this was an awesome conversation.
We do a lot of stuff together, and we've got our Outer Rim podcast, and I talk about Critical Role, which I love, and I just did the Black Rabbit thing I love, and I loved it. I do all the different things, but this right here is why I do what I do, and I'm here, and I'm going to continue to do it as long as shows like this get made. And we're still only 2 episodes into, I don't even know how many episodes. I don't care. Hopefully it's like around 8. But I don't know. Do you have anything else that you want to add here?
No, I mean, I think that pretty much says it all. I'm excited to be back here. We'll be back here next week and all the weeks going forward. This was such a delicious show to dive in. And yeah, it honestly, all I was doing today while I was getting ready was I'm thinking, the invasion. Oh, well, they were thinking about this. Oh, well, it's this type of DNA system. Well, they've got to have this type of idea. I mean, it got me thinking on so many different layers. It was so interesting. And it was because it was well done. It was so well done. It was so smartly done. It explained what it needed to, and it gave us reasons to not worry about things that it didn't want to bother explaining or diving into yet. I really couldn't ask more from a show.
Yeah. Apple's the place to be right now, I think, in a lot of ways for streaming. Alyssa says 9 episodes, finale on December 26th. It's going to be a great Christmas.
What a creepy holiday season, folks. This is going to be awesome.
And I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everybody out there in YouTube land, thanks for watching us talk about this. I hope you guys enjoyed our conversation. This is going to be the energy, I think, that we bring to all of these. All the extra science stuff, I love it. So, and it just flows so well. When you have a show like this, it's so easy. When it's so easy to just, I don't have any notes. I didn't need any notes. This shit's already living in my brain rent free. And I finished the second episode like 20 minutes before we went on. That was my second time though.
Sure. Oh yeah.
And I've seen the first episode 3 times already. So, and it didn't feel like a chore.
Yeah. And it came out yesterday, so it's got to be good.
Yeah. So don't forget to hit like and subscribe to both our channels, Smirking Gun and D's Reviews. Don't forget to check out our podcast channel, the Outer Rim Podcast. There's other people that use the word Outer Rim. Just look for our stupid faces in the in the little logo, and you'll
at the Outer Rim Pod, and that'll take you right to us.
Excellent. So, in case we don't see you until next Saturday, that's when we'll be back here doing this. I've got a Critical Role video to finish. We've got the next episode of our podcast dropping on Monday, where we'll be talking about fixing America, I guess.
Yeah,
is the best way to say
some ideas on how we lay a foundation moving forward.
Yep. So check out that, like and subscribe over there, and and I'll be playing games as usual. And with the more that we do here with all these different things, it means that I'm going to be probably making a lot more other things as well that I don't want to ever say, because then if I don't do them, I don't get mad at myself. So have a great night, everybody. I am me. I plan on being me. I don't plan on being a part of us. And he's a better looking Borg. So Have a great night, and we'll see you on the next video. Don't forget the outro. Oh wait, you can skip the no. Don't ever skip the outro.
No, the outro is the best.
Ba 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 bum. Ba bum 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 bum.